Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In Washington State, transportation means jobs, and investing in our roads, our bridges, our highways, and transit systems puts people to work and keeps the economy moving. Now, one of the issues that's important in Washington State is adequate funding for ferry boats. Ferries are a lifeline in our state and not a luxury. Thousands of people in my district and throughout the state and the country use ferry boats every day to get to and from work. And I hope we can agree that additional funding for the ferry system is a key part of a final agreement, particularly if there's a move to change the funding formulas within the ferry boat program. Another major issue that I hear about is the trouble that smaller and mid-sized cities have competing with bigger cities for federal resources. The House bill includes language I authored that creates an expedited application process for smaller, low-risk projects that want to use TIFIA financing that I believe will help smaller cities in my district and throughout the country compete for federal assistance. These reforms will also help bike and pedestrian projects compete for TIFIA funding. Sidewalks, trails, bike lanes are a critical part of the transportation network. Less than 2% of federal transportation funding goes to the Transportation Alternatives Program, but communities leverage these small funds to get big results. Transit is another critical part of the network of transportation, and people depend on the buses and bus infrastructure to get to work and school each day. So I support the changes made in the House bill to require competition nationally for transit funding. And finally, I appreciate that both bills improve the safety of crude oil traveling by rail and our bridge infrastructure. And I hope we'll continue to push forward on both those issues, which are hugely important in my district. And finally, I want to echo Ms. Brown's comments regarding important metrics. Thank you for your leadership, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to the full committee, and I look for the opportunity to weigh in on all these issues. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Larsen. Now recognize Mr. Nadler for a statement.